Now, since the United Nations Charter was actually signed in 1947, and since nothing has happened since that charter was signed, that treaty between the United Nations and the United States, we decided to continue doing research, because obviously there must be something there that holds back the United States from giving us the right of self-determination in accordance with the United Nations Charter. In doing so, we came upon another treaty signed by the United States in 1975. Now, this was a treaty conducted between the United States and European nations. And the purpose of this treaty was to determine the economic, social, and mutual defense of Europe. But a funny thing happened during that Helsinki Accord, which occurred between 1973 and 1975, and was finally ratified in 1975. This was the same time period that you had social, cultural issues going on in the United States because of the Vietnam War, and because you had Native Americans as well as Native Hawaiians that were upset with the fact that they were not being treated as they should be. So they sent representatives to Helsinki. And as a result of their efforts, Article 8 of the Helsinki Accord, equal rights and self-determination of peoples. The participating states will respect the equal rights of peoples and their right to self-determination, acting at all times in conformity with the purposes and principles of the Charter of the United Nations, and with the relevant norms of international law, including those relating to territorial integrity of states. By virtue of the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples, all peoples always have the right in full freedom to determine when and as they wish their internal and external political status, without external interference, and to pursue as they wish their political, economic, social, and cultural development. That's Article 8 of the Helsinki Accord, another treaty the United States signed with nations that affects us, because we are an unorganized, an unincorporated, organized, non-self-governing territory held in trust by the United States. That is our true political status. We went back to Title 25. And the amazing part about researching these laws is it's extremely difficult to find one website on the internet that contains the full context of any federal code. It's extremely difficult. When we first came upon Title 25, it was in an Ivy League college, law library. This is a legal college. I'm not going to mention the name. And we thought we had the full context of Title 25 coming from an Ivy League law college. We did not. We did not. We discovered that by doing even more research and going into other sites dealing specifically with Native Americans, where we were able to pull bits and pieces of Title 25. Even going to the United States government printing office webpage, which is supposed to contain all of the federal documents, we could not find a full volume or context of Title 25. But we did manage to find 25 CFR Chapter 1, Part 83, which is procedures for establishing that an American Indian group exists as an Indian tribe. Within this chapter, there are definitions of what an Indian tribe is, which stipulate that an Indian tribe is a group or group. Indian group or group means any Indian or Alaskan Native aggregation within the continental United States. It conflicts itself further on in the same chapter by saying previous federal acknowledgement as another form of identification as an Indian tribe. And then Title 25 conflicts itself further by going back down to Chapter 43 by identifying Guam and the other territories as eligible for the benefits of Chapter 25. Chapter 43 of 25 U.S.C., Section 4103. The term state means the states of the United States, the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, Guam, the Virgin Islands, American Samoa, and any other territory or possession of the United States and Indian tribes. Just by that last sentence, this same law is identifying us as an Indian tribe. We wanted to discover when Guam was first identified, or the Chamorro people were first identified as Native Americans. So that became a topic of our research because of the Federal Acknowledgement Clause in Chapter 25. September 7, 1995, the Federal Register, Volume 60.173, publication 46599, advertising the creation of the Administration for Native Americans, the ANA. Under the Federal Register on September 7, 1995, we are recognized as Native American Pacific Islanders. It's kind of interesting to note that the definitions under the Chapter 43, the Housing Act, under Title 25, were amended in 1995 to include Guam, at the same time that the Federal Register recognizes us as Native American Pacific Islanders. Where does that leave us? Currently, we can go and we can register to become a Native American tribe. At this point in time, I don't think that that would be a wise thing to do. We are not the only ones who are researching this avenue. We also have other concerned Chamorros who are researching this avenue. One of them is here with us tonight. And we've had some brief talks, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot more in the future.